Run it now.
Can you hear me? Chetan
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
ಮಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರನ
Chetan Prabhu.
ಮಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಂದೆ
She had a question.
Tomorrow Alaka's gonna make his.
Chetan Prabhu, you are muted actually.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, what was your question, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, there are different paths of going to in the spiritual path. There is a different path to choose, no Prabhu. Like worshiping the deity or seeing the Lord within themselves and searching the Lord outside. So
The nine processes we discussed, Prabhu. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parisayanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanjanam. So these are the 9 authorized processes.
So my question is that, Prabhuji, that what is the right path? How do you know that which is the right path to go like that, Prabhuji?
Yeah. The right path we have to understand from the right spiritual master. So we have to find an authorized bona fide spiritual master who actually is in a proper disciplic succession. So each of the disciplic succession or a parampara is like, they are like different rivers which are going to the ocean, right? So if you, or like different trains go to a particular destination. So if you choose different trains, actually, let's say your destination is some particular place, New Delhi is your destination, and then if you take a train which actually is supposed to go to New Delhi, then you will reach New Delhi. But if you take some auto rickshaw, and you want to go to New Delhi, then you will not reach New Delhi. So we have to understand from the proper authorities or find out a bona fide parampara, because the parampara actually is all in each coming from Supreme Lord, right? We have discussed it earlier many times. There are 4 authorized paramparas, and we have to find an authorized parampara and also find a bona fide spiritual master who is who is actually a pure devotee of the Lord. So if you just follow the instructions of the pure devotee, so basically unless until we have faith in something, right, we cannot attain anywhere. So that why Krishna tells to Arjuna, one who is doubtful, right, or one who is not having faith, he cannot attain any perfection in this life or in the next life. So generally all of us will have so many doubts, right? That is a natural tendency of human being. Okay, but actually, that is why we have to depend on somebody. We have discussed in the beginning that spiritual things cannot be understood by material means, by material process. In material process, for example, if you want to buy a new television, we will apply a material process. No, we will search or ask a friend, anybody you will ask actually, or you will just go and see the customer reviews. The maximum number of people says, okay, this TV is good, you will buy that. But that is a material process. But for a spiritual thing, we cannot go by just popularity, because it's spirituality is actually beyond our senses. No, that is why it is known as transcendental. It actually is beyond our sense. So any of the so why it is called transcendental, we have explained, right? Because matter and spirit are just opposite. Spirit actually, so every living entity has a spirit in. No, for example, the atma or the jiva is spirit. It's a chitkana. It's a spiritual particle. So nobody can see. That is why when somebody dies, we don't see that actually the soul is leaving the body, because it is not visible by our eyes. It is beyond our material comprehension. So spiritual topics can only be understood by another person who has understood the spirituality. So that is why we need a bona fide spiritual master. And once you accept a bona fide spiritual master, you have to just follow his instruction, whatever. You have to have complete faith in him, and depend on him. So till we find a real spiritual master, actually we can consider the Supreme Lord as a spiritual master, because Krishna, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, he is giving the instructions. So if you have faith in Krishna, then you can follow the instructions which is given in Bhagavad Gita. So that Bhagavad Gita clearly tells what path has to be followed. Jagan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I got the answer, Prabhuji. But
Okay.
for answering the Lord, no, Prabhuji, going to the Lord, but it is not an easy path, no, Prabhuji. You need to do tapasya and means to read Bhagavad Gita and everything.
That is why in Kali Yuga, different process is given, Prabhu. We have discussed now. Hridaya Dhyayado Vishnum, Tredayam Ejado Mahe, Dwapare Paricharyayam, Kalauda Thari Kirtanat. So in Kali Yuga, the only process which is given is the chanting of the holy names. So we have discussed it earlier, that there are so many scriptural references actually, which tells, for example, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyava 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 Gadarana. So every Yuga there is a process, right? So in Kali Yuga, the process which is given is chanting the holy names or devotional service. So that is why we don't have to worry about other processes. So basically, we have to have faith in the acharyas, follow their path, also what is given by the scriptures, right? So sometimes it is not possible for us to understand the scriptures also directly. because Bhagavad Gita, like, no, we might have seen it much earlier, no, like I have also read Bhagavad Gita when I was small, but actually at that time I did not come to the right conclusion, or I could not understand most of the things. So that is why we understand, when we try to understand Bhagavad Gita from a proper parampara, proper acharya, then actually by their mercy, as I told, no, spiritual things cannot be understood by our endeavor. We may be a great Sanskrit scholar, or we may be a great pandit, whatever he may be, or we may be a very intellectual person, but all those intellect and scholarship actually are all material. To understand spiritual things, this qualification is not helpful. So that is why we have to depend on the spiritual master. That's why we pray in the beginning, na Om Atnana Timirandasya Nananjana Shalagaya Chakshur Unmilidam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. So actually it is telling that oh Lord, oh, I am born in the darkest ignorance, and my eyes are covered actually. The Guru, by mercy of the Guru, no, the Guru opens my eyes to the real knowledge, right? So that is why I am completely depending on my Guru, right? So this way we have to have faith in the Guru, and no, and so that all the things which we are providing, right, whatever we are discussing, it's all coming from the parampara, right? And then the previous acharyas and all of them actually have compiled. They have done all the studies. Especially the six Goswamis of Vrindavan are there, right? So actually they have done extensive research on all these topics. You can see here the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, right? So they are like Sri Rupa Sanadana, Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopala, Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. So these are the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are actually the associates of Supreme Lord. They came from the spiritual world, to deliver the souls. So these six Goswamis, they have done complete study of all the Vedic scriptures, and the essence of the Vedic scriptures has been given to our previous acharyas, and it is coming in that parampara. So we have to have faith on them, Prabhu. That's the only way. So if you read in Bhagavad Gita also, we can understand that Bhagavad Gita talks about different processes, right? Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga, Bhakti yoga. But the Lord actually ultimately says that Bhakti actually is the topmost. Krishna says that Bhaktyamam abhijanadi eva yavan yashashmi tattvada yado mam tattado jnatva vishadeda tanandaram. So Bhaktyamam abhijanadi. Krishna says that only by Bhakti I can be understood. Bhaktyamam abhijanadi. Then actually Krishna says, no, manmana bhavamad bhakto Badhyajimam namaskuru, Mam Evaish Satyam De Pradijane Priyosime. So Krishna says that, no, there also is asking us to become a devotee, right? Now, this way Krishna says in multiple places in Bhagavad Gita, and then of the different process, Krishna says that Yoginam Abhi Sarvesham Madgade Nandaratmana Shraddhavan Bhajade Yomam Same Yukta Tamomada. So Krishna says that of the yogis, right? So basically, first is karma, then jnana, then yoga, yogi, and then bhakta. So Krishna is saying that of all the yogis, one who is completely surrendered to me, he is the topmost. 1 second. So, so this way we can understand, Prabhu. Is that fine?
Yeah, but thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, let us go on. So already we are 5:30. So can somebody tell me about the important points in the next two paragraphs? Okay, maybe first paragraph we can focus actually. The second paragraph is a little different. So this particular first paragraph, what are the important points?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
So in this paragraph, we are talking about the ways how we should worship God, and there are some defined ways. We should not choose our own ways or our own words to do those worship methods. Like there are defined Vedic scriptures in what forms, what prayers we should offer, like we have in other religions as well.
Yes.
They are talking about the ways how we should do Archanam and Vandanam.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. So, yes. So what is Uttama Shloka means? Anybody?
So Uttam here means best, and Shaloka I think it means what we say. So they tell that it's the best selected words.
Yes.
So those are the words which are like maybe some people who are like our gurus who have defined those words, and we should also call by the same names. So same
Yes.
names or words for the Lord.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, yeah, correct, Mataji. So basically, Uttama Shloka actually mean that the Lord is worshipped by the best kind of words or best shlokas. Right? He is actually the, so basically he is the topmost of everything. So naturally he deserves to be worshipped with the best words or anything, right? If you are actually offering something or no, offer you are worshipping the Lord. So the Lord actually is worshipped with the best paraphernalia or best food, for example. So similarly, when you are using words, we are, the Lord actually is always described by the best words or the most topmost words, right? That word Uttama Shloka is always that one. Krishna's another name is Uttama Shloka. So basically, the main point is that as much as possible, we should follow an authorized method actually. It's because as we discussed earlier, right? Sometimes all living entities or somebody who want or who is interested to worship the Lord, they may not initially may have a correct direction or an understanding of how to worship the Lord. Okay, so sometimes it can happen, but actually in such cases, the Lord actually will direct the living entity in the form of Paramatma to a proper guru. So generally, that is why it is always mentioned. We cannot do things whimsically. No, we have to do it in a proper way because especially because we are following the Vaidhi Bhakti, right? We discussed about that. Vaidhi Bhakti is actually the regulated devotional service. That is a mark we are following because we don't have the natural affinity. At the moment, we don't have the natural tendency to love the Lord actually. So that is why we are actually following the regulated devotional service. So in this regulated devotional service, actually we are actually follow a particular vidhi or a marga or a process, right? So that is why there is one shloka which actually says that Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidim. What is that? Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika. Let me see where I'm looking. Here I think, let me see. So basically what it says is that unless until actually we follow a particular authorized parampara or a particular process which is authorized, it is very difficult to attain the Lord easily, right? By our own method actually. Okay, but ultimately what is most important is sincerity, right? So here it is mentioned, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatriga Vidimbina Aikantigir Harir Bhaktir Utpadayeva Nakalpade. Okay, so what actually it means is that devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. It's a little harsh actually, but nevertheless the point which is emphasized is that no, we cannot just do something whimsically. No, we have to always follow some acharyas. All we should execute devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master, which who is naturally following some authorized parampara and authorized methods of worship, for example. Right, so that is why we may think that okay, generally today's world, no, we can see that many people are actually pious. They may go to temple, but they don't have any proper understanding of things, right? They may go today, they may go to Monday, I'll go to like Shiva's temple. Tuesday I'll go to Ganesha. Wednesday I'll go to some other deity like that. Saturday I'll go to Shani temple, because they don't have any proper understanding. What is the position of the devatas? What am I doing? Why am I worshipping? How can I please? So they don't have any idea actually, any clue. So they just do something whimsically because no, like they see others are doing, or somebody will tell them to do like this, they will do it. But actually, that kind of thing, actually, unless until we have a proper idea of what actually, who am I, who is the supreme, what is the relationship, what is the process. So without that, if you do something whimsically, it may not actually real any proper benefits. First of all, we should know what is good for us, right? What is actually what is that to be ultimately achieved. If that itself we are not sure, then naturally we cannot reach the right place. Like just like if you don't know where to go, we cannot expect that you will reach the right place, right? It's very natural. So first of all, today's world actually people, if you take few generations before, no, 2 3 generations before, actually they had much better knowledge about spirituality. They actually were following, because every family, they used to have a particular guru kind of, traditionally they have somebody who to guide them, and then they were actually following things from the previous generation. So it was transferred from one generation to another, like that it has to come. But recently, especially after the British came, right, I know they actually told that okay, all these things are mythology, they are just some stories. They want to undermine our culture, right? And then because we are actually, we somehow are bewildered, we think no, the western, whatever the western people are doing, whatever British people are telling is the right thing, and then we left our culture, and no, we left everything. So that is why the scriptures are very important actually. The scriptures are actually given by Supreme Lord himself, no? It is not that some person has written the scriptures. It is not like that. So that we have seen in one of the initial sessions, right? Scriptures actually are it's like just like a mother, right? And it is given by the Lord Himself, Supreme Lord. We have discussed it, right? When He creates a material world, He gives the scriptures just like a manual for the material world. How can you live happily here? If you want to enjoy material benefit, that information also is available in Vedic scriptures, the different yagyas, etc., by which you can attain material prosperity. But actually, you will keep rotating in the cycle of birth and death. That information is available. And also, but people who are actually serious about going back to the spiritual world, for them there is actually the Upasana Kanda or the Bhakti Marga, which Lord has given, by which actually they can actually go back to spiritual world. So different sections of Vedas will talk about different aspects. So there's so many living entities who are having so many different kinds of desire. So the living entities who have material desires, they will always try to seek some material benefits, right? So for them there is a section called karma kanda in Vedas. Actually, by doing those things they can become materially happy. And then somebody who are actually basically come to the senses, for example, right understanding, and then they understand that this material world is not actually a place of happiness. Then they start inquiring about spirituality. Then actually they take up the spiritual process of going back to the Lord. So like that, there are different processes in the Vedas. Okay. Yes. So what about next paragraph? Any questions are there till now? Otherwise, we can move to the next paragraph. Somebody wants to tell the important points.
Prabhuji, I want to know the Uttama shlokas so that we can use for worshipping God. Like, what are the shlokas in this?
That will come in later. And so Mataji, like in the next paragraph, it is talking. You can tell what is in the next paragraph.
We should always speak. That is done, right, Prabhuji? Okay.
One second. I'll just tell you. So this is the paragraph according to the great learned scholars. This is the paragraph.
It is telling like the Bhagavad Gita contains many authorized prayers. We know that there are many shlokas which are for which are like Arjuna uses for worshipping, praising Lord, like his universal form and all. And those slokas we have to get from the Bhagavad Gita. What are those? And in one more Gotmiya Tantra. All the verses are called prayers. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are hundreds of prayers to the Lord. So devotee should select some of these prayers for his recitation. So basically, this paragraph is telling we have to know some prayers so that we can recite, not basically like whatever you know, you just randomly select words and praise him. Rather than doing that, you selected slokas from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. If you recite, then it will be very pleasing for the Lord, and it will be like valid worshipping of the God.
Yes, Mataji. So yeah.
And there it is. Our tongues are decorated always with prayers to the Lord Krishna. And we try to recite all the slokas, whatever they are mentioning here. So it will be like decorating our tongue also to the praise of praying the Lord.
Yes. So the prayers can purify us actually. Basically, see every devotional activity, every activity or every limb of devotional activity or any activity which is in devotional service that can purify us. So that is the whole point of doing, executing devotional service by actually connecting to the Lord, because He is the completely pure, supreme. By interacting or somehow connecting to the Lord by any of the devotional method, actually we become purified, and then gradually we can actually make progress in devotional life, so that we can become necessarily qualified. That is the importance of devotional service. So Uttama Shloka Mataji. So there are many shlokas now. So which one? So that's what some example is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you look, there are many prayers of the Lord. Okay, so for example, the prayers of Queen Kunti is there. Then actually the prayers by Vedas personified is there. Then Akrura's prayers is there. Then Uddhava's prayer is there. Gopi Geet is there. Gopi's prayers. So like that, there are Gajendra prayers is there. So there are so many. If you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many prayers. You can see that. No? So in any of these prayers, actually, so every prayer actually it is given some. There is some Falashruti is there. It is told that okay, if this prayer is sung, actually, you have some benefit. Like of course, they are all spiritual benefits. So we can actually memorize some of these shlokas, some of these prayers. Otherwise, actually, we can just stick to the basic prayers also. So basically, we are doing the whatever arati when we do arati, right? We are doing prayers actually. So like Samsara Dava prayers we are doing. Then actually we have the song book, right? In that there are many prayers actually. So these songs are actually sufficient in the beginning. And then the slokas from Bhagavatam actually they are little difficult actually to remember. But you know when we have time or when we become more advanced and when you feel that we can recite those prayers, then actually we can refer to Srimad Bhagavatam. There are many prayers in that, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we cannot suddenly remember all those things,
Right.
but actually we can refer to Bhagavatam and we can recite the prayers.
Okay.
So the prayers of Vedas personified actually they are actually full of philosophy, but actually they are glorifying the Lord in various ways. Maybe we can just have a quick look if you want, but I will not be able to go in very detail. Hmm?
Yeah. And it is mentioned like chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita also, sure.
Yeah. In chapter 11, Krishna Arjuna says, no, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So when after the Lord shows the universal form, then Arjuna
Okay.
actually offers prayers to the Lord. That also we can see. What is that actually? Bhagavad Gita, which 7th chapter, 11th
11.
chapter. Okay. It is about universal form. So when after Lord shows the universal form, so I think towards the end it is there. So here onwards, I think this Arjuna's prayers is there. No, like he's actually glorifying the Lord, saying that Arjuna said, "O Master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfect beings offer you the respectful homage, demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done." Like that, no. So here onwards, you can see that Arjuna is offering the prayers to Krishna.
Okay,
Okay,
Prabhu.
so O greater one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then you should not affect, offer the respect of unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe. You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, the transcendent to all material manifestation. The Devesha Jagan Nivasa, Tom Aksharam Sadasat Tat Param Yat. Like that, actually, this song's gone. The original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of the material cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes or limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is provided by you. So like this, so most of these prayers actually have a lot of meaning. Actually, it basically most of them actually it will reveal to us the position of the Supreme Lord. What is his position? So here actually telling again different aspects of the Lord. Yeah, these slokas are very nice. So nama purastad adap prishtadastade namo shruti te sarvada eva sarva ananda viryamida vikramam tvam sarvam samapnoshi tadosi sarva. Yes, man. So then actually there is in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. There are Bhagavatam has a lot of prayers, Mataji. So if you're reading Bhagavatam, if you have Bhagavatam, or you can come to this website and also check. So many prayers are there. See, prayers praised by the demigods to Lord Krishna in the womb. Before the Lord took birth, the demigods actually offered prayers. Then
Yeah.
there is a lot of philosophical prayers in the end. What is that? Yeah, this chapter is very with a lot of deep meanings. The prayers of the personified Vedas. So here actually the Vedas in the form of person, they actually offer prayers to the Lord. So here it is very philosophical. So it's very big.
Okay.
Yeah, so here onwards the prayer start actually. So basically it starts with the glorification of the Lord. Shri Shruti Vaja, Shrutis are actually glorifying the Lord. Jaya 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 Hi Ajam Ajita Dosha Grihita Gunam, like that it goes. Tomasi Tomasi Yadatmana Samabrata Samasta Bhaga Agajagandoksham Okasham Akila Sakti Yava, like that it goes, Mataji. So it's glorified. Shruti said, victory, victory to you, O unconquerable one. By your very nature, you are perfectly full in all opulences. Therefore, please defeat the eternal power of illusion, who assumes control over the modes of nature to create difficulties for the conditioned soul. O you who awaken all the energies of the moving and non-moving embodied beings, sometimes the Vedas can recognize you as your sport with your material and spiritual potencies. Okay, so like that, there are so many prayers. Okay, so but in the beginning, I think we whatever the acharyas have written, no, we have so many prayers actually which we sing that daily. That actually is sufficient.
Okay.
Okay, so the last paragraphs, last two paragraphs, somebody wants to tell the points. Krishna. So, what is the difference between worshipping demigods and worshipping Supreme Lord? What is the difference? If somebody can say.
Demigods are often worshipped for some material gains. That is their
Yes.
understanding.
So, what is the position of demigods with respect to Supreme Lord? Chetan
Even
Prabhu,
demigods
yeah.
worship Supreme Lord.
Yes, exactly. Chetan Prabhu, you want to say, add something? What is the position of demigods with respect to Supreme Lord? Krishna, Chetan Prabhu. I think you are muted. I'm not able to hear you. I think he'll join again. Yes, Mataji. So Aruna Mataji told you right. No, they actually the demigods also worshipping the Supreme Lord, and so the demigods actually no. Basically, we have discussed earlier, right? See, are demigods eternal?
No, Prabhuji, they are not. After some time, even they have to come back to take birth, and after a period of time.
Yes. So
That's
we
what
know
you.
that. Yes. So Brahma, for example, Brahmaji, like no, Brahmaji is the creator of the material universe, right? So his lifetime is defined actually. No, we have seen it actually. So Brahma's lifetime is one breath of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is from Mahavishnu actually all the different material universes comes out from his different pores in the body when he breathes out, and when he breathes in, all the material universes goes back to his body. So Brahmaji, so Brahma is the person who lives maximum in every universe, right? He's the first person. So Brahma's life itself is actually kind of determined. No, it is calculated to be some 311 trillion, 40 billion. That is many years actually is the life of Brahma. But nevertheless, the point is that all the living entities in the material world, they all undergo the process of birth, death, old age, and disease. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "Abrahma bhuvanal loga punaravartino Arjuna." Right? Mamupeti tu kaundeya punarjanmana vidyade. What it means? Abrahma Bhuvanal Loga, Punaravartino Arjuna. So from the lowest planet to the topmost planet of Brahma, there is actually this repeated cycle of birth and death. Punaravartino Arjuna. Mam upetitu kaundeya punarjanmana vidyate. Krishna says that if you come to me, then actually there is no rebirth. So basically, in the material world, all the demigods, they are all actually part of the material creation, and they are just like post. We have seen that, no? Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Brahma. These are all post. So when this Brahma's lifetime is over, another living entity, another soul actually gets the Brahma's post. Based on, so some living entity has done so many pious actually credits over so many hundreds of birth, they actually get the possession of Brahma in the material world. So, but then that post will be gone. Similarly, Indra's post is much shorter actually. So every Manu, so in one day of Brahma, so we saw that Brahma's life is very long, like 311 trillion years and 40 billion years. So that is very long. But in that is the complete life of Brahma. In that Brahma's life actually, like just like us, Brahma lives for 100 years, and in every year of Brahma, like there are like 12 months and like there are days and night. So one day of Brahma is actually 1,000 Mahayugas, right? The four yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So these four together is one Mahayuga, and so that actually come to around 43 lakh years. So this is one day of Brahma. Okay, similarly one night of Brahma. So in every day of Brahma, actually there are 14 Manus, 14 Manvantras are there. 14 Manus comes and go. So the Indra, etc., the demigod like Indra, Chandra, and all, their lifetime is actually subjected to the Manvantara. So in one Manvantara they can rule. After the one Manus goes, so then another Manvantara comes and another Indra will come to that post. So like that, demigods actually keep changing their post. Okay, so because the demigod themselves are actually not eternal, right? They cannot give eternal what you call benefits like liberation. So even Lord Shiva says that only Vishnu is actually capable of giving liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Mukti pradayade Vishnu, idi Vishnu. So so this way we have to understand the position of different demigods. So demigods, because they are themselves dependent on the Supreme Lord, they cannot actually give you eternal spiritual benefit, but they can provide you material benefit because they are controllers of the material nature. They have different powers by which actually they can control the material nature. So the demigods can give you material benefits, rewards if they satisfy them. But all these material benefits are temporary, right? It cannot provide any eternal benefit. 1 second. Now. Yeah, so that is actually, so that is the difference between worshiping demigods. So when you worship demigod, we can immediately get, demigods actually give quick benefits. Fast, immediately we get some material benefit can be achieved. But actually we have to understand the futility of material benefits, right? They're all temporary. What is the point actually? If you become, even if you become Indra, what is the point actually? Ultimately, again, you will have to, again, probably you will have to again become, some point of time you could degrade actually to become a worm. That is possible actually. So they're all contemporary, benefits, which actually is not providing anything in the long term. So the ultimate benefit of, what is the ultimate benefit of a living entity? What is the highest thing that a living entity can achieve in the material world? Question. Aruna Mataji, you want to try?
I mean, all kinds of material, luxuries, and that's the maximum one can achieve, but on the material plane. I don't know whether it is it that question that you're asking, Prabhuji, or
No, Mataji. No. So the material you can achieve that. So
huh.
what is the highest thing when you get a human form of life?
Yeah,
What is the highest thing that human form of, in the human body we can achieve?
we can realize God. You know,
Yes.
yeah, we
So
can
what is the result
realize
of realizing the God?
unending love, or pure uh,
Yes.
devotion. I mean, yeah.
So basically, most important thing, so we can get free from the cycle of birth and death, right? That is, so
Yes.
otherwise,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah. So when we get different bodies, 84 lakh, it is mentioned in scripture that 84 lakh different species of life exist, and in that actually, human form of lives are very rare. There are some 4 lakh or something like that. Okay, so in that actually the human form of life generally is very rare, and even in human form also, taking birth in a cultured family, right? To get an opportunity to get some spiritual knowledge, that is very rare. So, but no other forms of life, it is actually possible to get out of cycle of birth and death. That actually example we had discussed. No, do anybody remember the example of the boat? The boat example, the boat to cross the material ocean. Anybody remembers that example?
we have to rely on the person who is rowing the boat. I thought so. That's what is basically.
There's a shloka in Bhagavatam. I don't know whether I'll get it actually. It's not easy to get. Something else is coming. Okay. Basically, that shloka in Bhagavatam, no, it actually, anybody remembers? Niveda Mataji, you remember? Krishna.
No, Prabhuji, I am trying to recollect.
This is a very nice shloka in Bhagavatam. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to find it. Yeah, this is one of the shlokas actually. Okay, there is one more shloka. This shloka is little different, but this is also very nice. I think we have read it sometime back. I think
Yes,
it is
Prabhuji.
10th canto. The shloka which I originally talked is a different shloka that I'm not able to search. I don't remember the exact words of the shloka, but today also I read it, but I don't remember. Tab 10, 14, 58. Okay, here I don't think we'll see it. Yeah, this is a shloka actually. Samashridaye padapallavam plavam mahatpadam punyesho murare bhavambudirvatsa padam param padam 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 yadvibadam natesham. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Muradaman, the ocean of material world is like the water contained in the calf's hoof print. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikunta, the place where there is no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So it's very, very nice sloka actually. Okay, so this Padam Padam Yad Vibadam actually is talking about the material world. In material world, in every step there is danger. Padam Padam Yad Vibadam means every step there is danger. So what actually happens? Somebody who actually takes shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, for them actually, the entire material existence will be the material existence is always compared to a great ocean, which is unsurmountable. Nobody can swim and cross it, right? So, but one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord or Murari, for him, this material ocean will look like the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. Calf actually is a small, like baby of the cow, and in that some little water is there. No, it's very easy to just cross it, right? So somebody who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mugunda, the material world, the material ocean looks like that. Now, samsarita, samashrita, samashridaya padapallavam plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavambudirvatsa padam param padam 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 yavipadam natesham. Like that the shloka goes. So it's very nice shloka. You can just note down if you want. And then this is one of the prayers you can do, Mataji. Were asking about the prayer, right? This
Yes,
prayer you can
Prabhuji.
recite every day so that you can remember
Sure.
actually how by remembering the Lord you can go back to Him.
Okay.
Okay, there is one more shloka which actually is not easy to find. I'm not able to find it. Maybe next time I'll try to search it. Okay, basically that
Okay.
shloka, what it says is that the material, actually there are different bodies that living entity can get. No, there are 84 lakh different kind of bodies which are available. In that, actually, the human body is only capable boat which is capable of crossing this ocean. Again, the material existence is like an ocean. So there are different boats actually are there, but many of the small boats, no, we cannot cross the ocean with the small boats, right? So you need a capable boat actually. So the human body is the only boat which is capable of crossing this ocean. And not only the getting the human body is sufficient, you need a proper captain who actually can guide you, who are already traveled, who knows how to navigate this ocean. Like there are so many different turbulences in the ocean, right? So many storms and so many what do you call unfavorable situations are there. So you need a efficient, a very capable captain who can actually guide you. So this captain is the spiritual master, and then also you need to have the winds or the favorable weather, which actually are like the winds. So all these things are required actually. So when you have all these things, then actually it is possible to cross the material ocean. So that is the example, right, of the boat, the capable boats. Human body actually is rarely obtained, and that is the only possibility to cross over the material ocean, right? And all other forms of life, it is very difficult. So that is the importance of that shloka. Okay, but I don't remember the words of the shloka. Uh, Let me see here. I'll get something. Yeah. So where place it is there? Let me see the shloka if I get. Yeah, nothing is there. Yeah. So here it is there. Now this is shloka, I think. So I'm not reading the shloka basically. Nrdeham Nrdehamadyam sa sulabham susudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram maya anukulena nabasvyateritam puman bhavabdim natare sa atmaha. What it says is that the human body, which can award all benefits in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is very rare achievement, the human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of personality guarded as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize the human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. So this is a very, very profound shloka, right? Any questions are there till now?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, so this shloka you can note down. It is actually 11.20.17. 11th canto, 20th chapter, 17th shloka. Okay, the other shloka was
Okay.
10.14, 14.58.
10.58.
So both are actually a little bit similar. Now, how can we cross over the material existence? That is actually the information which is given here. Okay, so now the last shloka. Any person who comes before the deity of the Lord and begins to chant different prayers is immediately relieved from all kinds of reactions of sinful activities and become eligible without any doubt to enter Vaikuntha Loka. So here actually it is glorifying. So basically we have to understand that we have seen in various places, no, different limbs or different activities of devotional life. They are all actually promising that no, it can eradicate all the sinful reactions, because the sinful reactions are one of the main obstacles for a living entity to go back, no, or to make progress in spiritual life. Because somebody is very, very sinful, they will not get any desire to do devotional service. They will not have any faith, right? So how can we get actually rid of the sinful activities or the covering of the consciousness? So it's by practicing devotional service. So any of the devotional service actually, here it is mentioned that no, like coming in front of the deity, doing deity worship or praying to the deity, it can completely purify us from all the sinful reaction. Similarly, we have seen that by chanting the holy names, by doing the reading Srimad Bhagavatam, by serving Vaishnavas. So all any of the devotional activity, they are all very potent, and then they are actually capable of purifying us. So that is why we have to understand. No, we may think that okay, why it is again and again different places it is mentioned like this. So that is we have to understand that they are all different aspects of devotional service, and any aspect of devotional service, they are all very powerful to purify the living entity. Okay. Okay, so now does Lord require anyone's service? So this second question, anybody knows what is the answer? Does Lord requires anyone's service? Why do we offer a service to the Lord? Does Lord requires
To
anyone's service?
purify us.
No service.
No.
No, sir. No, Prabhu. He doesn't require anyone's service.
Okay. So then why are we doing offering services to the Lord?
It is because we want to be purified. We want
Yes.
so that we can get attached to the love of God. Because He
Yes.
is all merciful. He is all opulence, with all opulence. He is rich. He is beautiful. We are with weak senses. We have to be get purified, attached to Him. So we have to. That is the reason we have to do service.
Yes, Mantas. So anybody, any other question? Anybody has any doubt in that particular point? How does one make progress in spiritual life?
Bhakti yoga.
Yes, that is very clear.
Yeah.
So by practicing any of the limbs of Bhakti Yoga, one can make progress in spiritual life. What do you usually pray to? Okay, so this question, what do you usually pray to the Lord for generally?
I usually pray. Basically, I want Him to be with me always, connected to Him only. With always, I want to be connected with Him. Not even for a single minute. Don't want to be away from Him. I pray Him to be with me even for till my last breath. And
Okay.
after breath also, I want to go back to him.
Mm. Okay, Mataji, thanks. So what about others? So you can tell what you used to pray till last year.
Yeah, for material, like asking for kids, for example, what I can last before no, before connecting to ISKCON, I used to ask for material benefits only, Prabhuji.
Mm-hmm.
Like daughter was there, and expecting son, and good health, good education, wealth,
Okay.
happiness. Basically, for to be happy comparing with others.
Yes. Aruna Mataji, would you like to say something?
For a long time, Prabhuji, if I can remember, long time back, going to high school also, I always prayed for higher knowledge or guidance from God, to understand what I used to term as Brahma Vidya, or, understanding of the Atma and other things. So that used to be one of the constant things that I prayed on a daily basis. And I later also, as I did my MBBS and all, I used to also include well-being of others also. For some reason I felt, that would give me joy to include, in my prayers, because I felt very limited when I used to ask for myself. Not that, in times of distress, of course, you will ask, but on a general basis, usual day prayers, I still do that, is to ask. I feel very limited when I ask just for me. So I always feel, I should ask for well-being of others as well, and
Yes.
guidance, from him. This has been, these two sentences even run till today. So this is what I can say.
Yeah, that is very nice, Mataji. So that's what. No, sometimes, like for example, generally most people doesn't play for knowledge like that. So people will pray saying that, okay, no, I want to, like whatever material things we will pray, right? For study, they would like to have knowledge in that. No, for example, I'm studying this subject, so let me have knowledge in this subject, or let me become expert here, or let me become a scientist. So very rarely the living entity, will have the intelligence that he should pray to get to know the absolute truth. So that generally happens only when we have done something in the previous birth. Actually, like we have started some seeking of the truth in the previous birth, and by virtue of that we saw that, no, like whatever small step we take in the path of spiritual life, that will never be lost, and then we continue from them. So that is why, also we discuss, right, we may take birth in a particular family, particular environment based on our past karma. So somehow or other, Lord actually in the form Paramatma, he reminds us whatever actually spiritual activity we have done in the previous birth, and then, we get a desire to continue in that direction. Yeah, so yes, that is right. Okay, Mataji. So Shelly, Mataji, would you want to say something? What you used
Uh,
to pray earlier, and does your prayer has changed now, or like?
yeah. So, I mean, from starting, there would be some particular sentences whenever we start praying, whenever I start praying, those will be the by hearted and they will come for sure. So,
Yes.
first thing would be like, I would say to Lord that please keep me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, always around me, whoever is there,
Mm.
especially my family and my
Yes.
friends. Not much about the friends, mostly my family. Let them
Mm-hmm.
be happy. That would be my next prayer. And
Mm-hmm.
then one thing which is mostly there in my prayers is to give me strength to deal with every kind of situation. This
Mm-hmm.
will always be there in my prayer.
Yes.
So, yes, I think, and then minor things which would be going on at that particular time, like you said, that there is an exam or certain materialistic things, that will
Yeah.
for sure be part of the prayers, that I should succeed in this, or maybe my daughter should succeed in this. Those kind of
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. So so will you change your prayers in the future, or will you continue to pray the same way, or with the understanding of the spirit topics which we discussed now, do you think what should be a bit like, what should be the ideal prayer?
Yes, yes, definitely there would be lot of change and eventually it will go by a process. So definitely I would seek for more my journey towards going this spiritual path to be enhanced more, and I should continue with persistence on this path,
Hmm.
and I should progress with each day, each month. Something like that should my prayers includes now. And
Yes,
it
Mataji.
will definitely start becoming more as I grow into the spiritual path.
Yes. Yeah, that's true, Mataji. Yeah, see, unless and until we know, like we discussed earlier, no, unless and until we know what actually, what is our real destination, or what is the topmost destination, like without actually knowing, and first of all, without knowing who we are, right? If you don't know who we are, then actually, naturally, our if you don't know who we are, and then who are our relatives or our friends, generally we pray for ourselves and for our family, friends, etc., right? And some people they may pray for the better well-being of the entire world. They say, like loga samasto sugino bhavantu, the entire that's a Vedic this thing, aphorism. So generally, yeah, so but actually think the problem is that we don't know what actually is good for us. No, like generally we think that okay, this is good from material perspective. We all think, right? We think that I am so and so person, and then this is good for me. If I get this, I'll be happy. If that person gets that, he will be happy. This is our general estimation of the things, because actually we don't know who really we are, and then what is our destination, where did we come from, where are we going. So that is the problem, right? So once we start understanding these things, then naturally our prayer will also change, because now we know that okay, we are not this body. This is only temporary existence, right? Whatever attain, whatever material credit or material things me or my family members attain on a material platform, they are all temporary and it will be gone. So ultimately, when we understand the real person is the soul or atma, then we see that what is best for the atma. And for the best thing for the atma actually is actually to finish the cycle process, finish the is what you call reformation. It's like the material world is like a reformation center, right? So the what is the best thing you can wish for a patient in an hospital is that let him have a quick speedy recovery, right? And then let him go back to home. That is the best thing. Similarly for us also, when we understand that we are the real souls, then actually naturally our prayer that should be that all these souls who are conditioned, let they all become liberated actually, and then let them all go back to their respective homes. I mean, respective home, all of us will go to the same home essentially, right? So that when we understand that, then naturally our prayer will change. So first, but actually to get the conviction in many other things, it may take some time. So some people may have get convinced faster, because already they have done a lot of spiritual activity in their previous lifetimes, right? So they will get easily convinced, and they feel everything is natural, there's nothing difficulty. But some others actually, they may feel it little difficult to accept the things, because of the conditioning, right? Because we are used to different notions of the material world, we may not actually easily accept those things. We may have so many doubts, like that. So yeah, that's why we our prayers will get changed. Madhavi Mataji is there. Madhavi Mataji, would you like to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, you can hear you.
Uh, uh, First, I will thank to God, Prabhuji. Then I will ask for remove my mistakes, whatever previous I done. In future, I am not willing to do that mistake. That much I pray, Prabhuji. And
Mataji, we are not able to hear you. Are you telling something, Madhavi Mataji?
yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
In between, yeah, we could not hear. Yeah.
Whatever mistake previous I
Yeah,
done.
that we heard, Mataji. So after that, you were telling something.
And that in the spiritual path, I know come understanding whatever spirituality, then I will pray to God for improve advancement in spiritual path.
Yes, Mataji, nice. Yeah. See, without actually mercy of the Lord, no, it is very difficult to. That is also very important, right? So when we start the journey, to be successful in the journey is not easy, because there are so many obstacles in our life, right? In material life as well as in spiritual life, there will be so many different obstacles. It will not be always a smooth ride, right? So sometimes we may be doubtful, or sometimes some of our friends or relatives, they may try to create doubt in our hearts, thinking that okay, whether this is the right path. So there will be so many different obstacles. So we have to always pray to the Lord to protect our devotional service, devotional life. We can always pray to the Lord, no, to always guide me in the right path, and always help me so that I can continue practicing my devotional life, so that I will not fall down from the path. Right? The falling down from the devotional service is very easy, because the material world is very strong. Maya is very strong. Na? It is always Maya is always waiting for an opportunity to actually give us various enticements. trying to trick us in various ways. So, by our own strength, it is very difficult. We cannot fight Maya because Maya is very strong. That's what Krishna says. No, what is that actually? Mama Maya Durataya, right? He says, Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durataya. He says that my Maya, material energy, is very difficult to overcome. Krishna says that, and Mam Eva Ye Prabhadyante Maya Me Ram Tarantite. Krishna says that if you surrender to me or depend on me, then you can easily cross the Maya. So we have to be very careful in our devotion life, to not to commit offenses against other devotees, no, not to commit offense against the Lord or other devotees who are preaching the Lord's activities, right? And then getting subject to various fallacies of the material existence, right? So that way we have to always pray so that no, we are able to continue in the devotion life without problems. Okay, Mataji. Anybody else want to say something? Okay, so I think we are end of this topic. Then actually, any questions are there in what we discussed today or previously?
So basically, we need Prabhuji. Basically, what we need to pray for Lord to give us like basic to not to hamper our devotional service. That one you said, isn't?
Mm-hmm.
What else like we have to pray actually?
There is. It's a very difficult question, Mati. So basically, every Lord actually have a separate relationship with every living entity. Though there are innumerable jivas, right?
Okay.
Uncountable, but every living entity has a special relationship with the Lord. Okay, so similarly, every living entity is having a free will. So overall, actually, we can have a guidance. No, in the sense we can say that okay, we should not have material benefits. We should not pray for material things. Actually, we should pray for spiritual things, right? And we should actually always pray for getting the love of God. Actually, we can pray to the Lord to become merciful to us. Things like that we can say. But what exactly every person has to pray, it actually is up to the living entity to pray. More or less, we have a direction. So we should not think that okay, getting material things. So that basic thing we already know. So now, if you want to go back to the Lord, and everybody has different problems, right? Somebody may be weak in certain aspects. Somebody may not be able to control. For example, they have a lot of desire to eat. Actually, somebody may have some other problem, right? Somebody may not be able to get up in the morning, or somebody have so very everybody has different weaknesses based on our past vasanas. So these things we only know. We know ourselves what actually is our way. So we can pray to the Lord that no, these problems I'm having, Lord. So please help me to overcome them, like that.
Okay.
So overall, the idea is that our general direction of the prayer is to say that no, like we don't want to continue here actually in the material world again and again suffering. So somehow or other, I know, please actually, please give me the strength, to become more and more attached to the Lord, and become detached from the material attachments which we are having. So these material attachments are very very difficult to overcome. By our own
Yeah.
endeavor, it is not possible. So we need Lord's help actually, right? So we can pray to the Lord actually to give us the strength to actually become detached from the different things, like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can read Namamrita and we can chant one round.